The Legend of Ruby Sunday introduced us to the pantheon of the gods, whose notable members include Sutekh, the Trickster, Maestro, the Toymaker, and the Mara. You're watching Jordan Who, and in this video we are going to be looking at the origins of the god of beasts, aka the Mara. The Mara's origins can be traced back to the planet Menusa. Its people were civilized and technologically advanced, and their children lived with no fears except for the snakes that lived in the hills. They were poisonous and were told stories of them being evil to keep them away. Those children would one day grow up and experiment with crystals that would transform thought into energy. It's not the first time that planets have done this in Doctor Who. Take a look at the people of Metebelis, for example. But in their hubris, they would create a great crystal, and combined dance and the cradle of the snake seem to suggest such a thing. Whilst listing the pantheon of the gods in the Legend of Ruby Sunday, the Mara was named the god of beasts, so maybe and greed, and removed the great crystal from the power source, banishing the Mara back to the dark places of the inside. But legends persisted that one day the Mara would return in a dream. When the Fifth Doctor, Tegan, Nyssa and Adric arrive on a peaceful jungle planet on the edge of the Menusan Empire called Devaloka, they find a tribe called the Kinda and a colony ship looking to colonise the planet. But they soon discover that the Kinda were once a technologically advanced race that had conducted similar telepathic experiments as the Menusans, and with the rise of the Mara they had descended back into savagery. But remnants of their old civilization remained: the box of jhana, which was used to heal psychic illnesses, and the wind chimes for collective dreaming. Upon discovering the chimes, Tegan begins to fall under the spell of the Mara, and is soon asleep and finds herself in the dark places of the inside. The Kinda share dreams, and by dreaming alone, Tegan, hypnotised by the sound of the chimes, gives the Mara the release it wants, and the base to begin its return. Luckily though, the Doctor is able to fight it off by forcing it to face itself surrounded by a circle of mirrors, because evil like the Mara can't face itself. But the Doctor isn't entirely sure that the Mara is fully gone from Tegan's mind, and we later learn that the Mara has once again taken over Tegan, and this time used her to take the TARDIS back to Menusa, where it can find the Great Crystal and reinstate itself at the head of its dark empire. And this time the Mara nearly wins. It's a while before the creature can try again, this time in the Big Finish audio The Cradle of the Snake. It takes the TARDIS back to before its empire, when the people of Menusa were experimenting with thought technology, and takes over the mind of the Doctor, Nyssa and Turlough, using them to help it gain a form. Luckily, Tegan manages to pit her three friends against one another, using the evil of the Mara against itself, and seemingly, this time, destroying it. The Mara would use Tegan one final time, trying to persuade her into giving it its freedom by tempting her with a chance to travel in the TARDIS once again after having met the 13th Doctor. The Mara uses the form of Nyssa to try and persuade her, but Tegan, used to the tricks of the Mara, is able to push it back into the dark places of her own mind, where she keeps all the worst aspects of her travels with the Doctor. The god of beasts also has recently reared its scaly head again in a Big Finish Torchwood story, Art Decadence, where it formed the Serpentine Club in 1920s London. Luckily, Torchwood operatives at the time were able to stop the creature, whilst it forced members into the dark places of the inside. And there we have it. There's the Mara explained. While I'm sure the Mara was just a reference to some old monsters when it got name-checked in the pantheon of gods, maybe, though, it's time for the Mara to slither out of our screens once again, and take us into the dark places of the inside.